Now I am going to present a lecture on navigating the internet. In this lecture, we shall discuss about the concept of internet, evolution of the internet, the World Wide Web, web browsers and search engines, navigating the internet, tips for searching the internet, Google Scholar, how to create user profile in Google Scholar, accessing e-resources using remote login, federated searching and meta search engine. Now, what is internet? The internet is a global system of interconnected networks which enables users to host and share information through the websites. To locate and share different websites, we use search engines like Google or Yahoo to retrieve information on a particular topic, word or phrase. Just like we use the library catalog to find a book, search engines organize information and make it available to the users. Learning how to navigate the web is a core skill required for students, faculty and scholars to retrieve information efficiently from the internet. These skills include everything from understanding browser basics, search engines, using hyperlinks and reading and manipulating URLs, to using available add-ons and extensions for better web functionality. The image shows the source, its medium and usage of internet on different electronic gadgets. The evolution of internet. In 1969, the first workable prototype of internet came with the creation of the ARPANET, which is used to share sensitive defense information among different US departments. In 1971, email or electronic mail was introduced by Ray Tamilson that can send messages across distributed networks. In 1972, Winton G. Cerf invented the TCP/IP protocol and Ethernet that interconnects various computer networks for communicating with each other. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee has created the Hypertext Transfer Protocol or HTTP, a standard that gave diverse computer platforms the ability to access the same internet sites. In 1991, the World Wide Web or WWW has developed, which is a network of online content that is formatted in HTML and accessed via HTTP. In 1993, the first web browser Mosaic was developed by NCSA and later Netscape Navigator, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Opera and Safari were developed. In 1998, Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin and is well known for its popular search engine, email service, web browser, cloud computing and other various online tools. The picture shows the evolution of the internet and some of the basic milestones in the evolution of internet. World Wide Web is a network of online content that is formatted in HTML and accessed via HTTP. The term refers to all the interlinked HTML pages that can be accessed over the internet. The World Wide Web is most often referred to as the web. A web page is a document for the World Wide Web that is identified by a unique uniform resource locator or URL. A web page can be accessed and displayed on a monitor or a mobile device through a web browser. The data found in a web page is usually in HTML or XHTML format. A collection of web pages on the same computer is called website. A uniform resource locator or URL is the address of the resource on the internet and it indicates the location of a resource as well as the protocol used to access the information. A web browser is a software application that will help you browse the websites. A browser reads the information on a web page and displays it on your computer screen. Internet Explorer, Mozilla and Google Chrome are some of the examples of web browsers. A search engine is also a software program that searches for some particular document when specific keywords are entered. Google, Google Scholar and Yahoo are the most popular search engines. In conclusion, we basically use a browser to access information on the internet, while we use a search engine to point you in the right direction of a website that relates to the words we type in. We actually use a browser to get a search engine. These are some of the basic features of any web browser, which contains navigation button, refresh button, stop button, home button, address bar, web search, tabbed browsing, bookmarks, and many other features can be seen. Web search engines. A web search engine is a software system that is designed to locate information on the World Wide Web. When a user enters keywords or key phrases into a search engine, it produces a list of web content in the form of websites, images, videos, or other online data. The list of content returned via a search engine is usually known as search engine results page or a CEP. Some search engines also mine data available in databases or open directories. Unlike web directories, which are maintained only by human editors, search engines also maintain real-time information by running an algorithm on a web crawler. Any search engines have basically three primary functions: crawl, index, and rank. Major search engines such as Google, Yahoo, and Bing index the content of a large portion of a web and allows the users to query their index to find relevant pages on the internet. There is so much information freely available on the web that it is difficult to know whether it is reliable or not. Hence, the students, scholars, and faculty looking for scholarly information on the internet are advised to evaluate web resources for its authority, whether the credentials of the author who has created the site and their institutional affiliation are given, objectivity, whether the purpose and the intention of the site is clear, including any bias or any particular viewpoint, accuracy, whether the information provided is accurate and the facts documented are well researched, currency, whether the information is current and updated regularly, usability, whether the page well designed, stable, and easily accessible. To get all these, we should use Google Scholar instead of Google to get reliable and precise information on the internet. Here, some of the tips for smart and efficient internet searching. We should always use unique, specific terms in the search, use minus operators to narrow search, use quotation marks for exact phrases, don't use common words and punctuation marks like a, an, in, the, which are called stop words, which may usually ignored. Capitalization. Most search engines do not distinguish between upper cases and lower cases, even we put within quotation marks. Drop the suffixes, maximize autocomplete, customize your services, customize your searches using plus, star, question marks, and Boolean operators if required. Set a time limit, then change tactics. Use browser history to start from previous search. Now we will look into Google Scholar. Google Scholar, which provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature. You can search across many disciplines and sources such as articles, theses, books, abstracts from academic publishers, professional societies, online repositories, universities, and other websites. Google Scholar helps to find relevant works of scholarly research across the world, while Google, on the other hand, has a broader scope and retrieves resources regardless of where they come from. Here, some of the features of Google Scholar. Search all scholarly literature from one convenient place. Explore related works, citations, authors, and publications. Locate the complete document through your library or on the web. Keep up with recent developments in any area of research. Check who is citing your publications. Create a public author profile. This is the home page of Google Scholar. Some of the features are My Profile, My Library, Alerts, Metrics, Advanced Search Facility, Settings, and in the center we can find a simple search window of Google. Here, search output in Google and Google Scholar. When we made a search in Google with the word hydroponics, we can retrieve about 6 crore documents, wherein with the same word if we perform a search, we can get about 24,700 results, wherein it is 4% of the results which we have received through simple Google search. So with this we can say that Google will provide lots of information, whereas Google Scholar will provide precise and related information with any particular topic. Thus we can save lot of time and efforts while we search in Google Scholar. Creating an account in Google Scholar. For this we need an email account before we can begin, or we can take out one to create an account in Google Scholar. The first and foremost step is we should go to scholar.google.co.in, then click on My Citations, then select to start account, add user affiliation, then a link will be sent to your Gmail account. So we should click on the link to validate the Google Scholar account. Then click on add or upload publications. Then some articles will appear which appears with on the Google with our name. So click on relevant articles or search with keywords or DOI. Then click on profile updates, tick on make your profile live, lastly make my profile public. Once you have set up your profile, Google Scholar will update it with publication that it thinks are yours. You can choose between automatic update and manual updating during the setup process. Now, federated search and meta search. Federated search technology enables users to search multiple information resources simultaneously through one search query. Users can then view search results in a single integrated list. In other words, users do no longer need to consult each information resource individually. Instead, they can search multiple library catalogs or OPACs, websites, subscribed databases and citation databases all at one place. Federated search may also be referred to as distributed search, integrated search or universal search. Meta search engine is a combination of many search engines which are found on the internet. Meta search engines do not have an index of their own. They take the advantage of indices created by other search engines. A typical meta search engine pulls off the results from a number of search engines, say Google, Yahoo, Bing and many other search engines, and then apply their own algorithms in some cases to reorder the results. These are some of the federated and meta search products. Some of the commercial federated search products are 360 Search, EBSCOhost, Enterprise, EOS.web, MetaLib, Searchit, FedGate, and freely available meta search engines are Metacrawler, Dogpile, Vivismo and Mama. Access to e-resources. The authorized users can access the library subscribed e-resources in two ways. Access to e-resources. The authorized users can access the library resources in two ways. One is on campus and the other is off campus. The authorized users can access the library resources in two ways. One is on campus and off campus. The users can access library subscribed e-resources over the campus network using their given user ID and password or on IP base. When they are in off campus, they can access library e-resources through the remote login facility, for example EZ proxy, using their credentials. The main feature of this remote login facility is that it authenticates the users and allows them to access the full text online resources as if the user is within the campus. The picture shows that when the user is off campus, any subscribed content is pop up for user ID and password. To avoid that, the remote login facility is a service which facilitates to provide all the subscribed content in a single portal. This is an EZ proxy portal of PJTSAU. where we can find all the subscribed resources in a single portal like Sera, Krishi Prabha, AgriCat, CAB Abstracts, eBooks, statistical databases, AgriWatch and other subscribed resources. To conclude, basically the internet offers two main benefits, which are communication and information. However, it offers many other functions to the students, scholars and faculty in higher education institutions in teaching, learning and research. Some of these functions are storehouse of information, information catalogs, social networking, communication without boundaries, online interactive learning, electronic and online research, innovation in new world, improve interest in learning and open educational resources. Thank you.